Welcome to the Clock Tower. I'm Brandon here with Colton, and today we're doing gameplay for the Frieren deck that we put out earlier this week. And Colton, what are we playing against?
Apocrypha, because I felt like it. I like Apocrypha. It's old, it's fun, and I like playing cards with Astolfo on them. So yeah, that was the concept. And also, I can actually get reverses, so it's reasonably playable into this matchup.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So it's with Frieren. If you missed out on the game, if you missed out the deck profile earlier this week, effectively what we're trying to do with the 8 Pants build is we're trying to play our level 1 combo, getting the flight magic events that you kind of see and feel already there, and get those back into hand from waiting room. That's our essentially torch event, so we can mill through the top 4 cards of the deck, and it pairs along really well with the brainstorm that allows us to top deck rearrange every time we play an event up to 3 times, which can happen both offensively and defensively. So, like just that extra amount of information consistently throughout the game makes a huge difference. And because it flows really well with all those packages together, that you can kind of really just get this kind of really cool gameplay loop going. Leading into our finisher, that is the trial deck finisher. On play, you can trip 3, so you look at the top 3, choose 1, add to hand. On top of that, it has a ditch 2, burn 4. So effectively refunding one of those cards to hand, so you only need an additional card in hand at the start of the turn alongside each copy of your combo. So as long as you have a full hand by that time of the end game, or access to full hand, you are good to go.
Frieren is mechanically one of the decks. It's the kind of deck that I enjoy playing the most. And the combo is obviously imminently loopable with the 8 Pants. The event package is really solid. The top end is really solid, especially because it's not very expensive to actually use. It's 6 stock and 3 cards, so it's very easy to get into that. It's just a very smooth play, and I really appreciate sets that have this. But for my part, I opened 2 of the book CXs in my hand, which is honestly the dream scenario in Apocrypha because there's like no CX dig until level 3. So I am perfectly happy to take my 1 reverse with the Astolfo because I know it's coming back, because it is an on reverse top check if it's a character add, and when you attack it cross turn, it jumps back into my hand. So a nice little double plus is always nice, and if you can do it multiple turns in a row, it's even better.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely just kind of play into the combo, trying to play into the events, trying to see what does it look like after this point. I'm already out 5 climaxes with a pretty thick deck still. This triggering the pants makes it 6, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to be milling through my deck here pretty quickly.
Which is something that Frieren allows you to do. We talked about it like it's better Danmachi. Yeah, it's basically better Danmachi. Like, it has all the good things that you like about Danmachi, but it fixes a lot of the frustrating problems with Danmachi.
Yeah, the only thing it doesn't do is get massive power to step over things at 1. Outside of that, it has a better defensive value, I think, which is kind of what we see with Kaguya as well. The new Kaguya set, a very similar idea.
But I also think that it's less important to be able to get huge and clear board. Like, 7 is perfectly fine. 7 is a perfectly fine number for almost everything that isn't slime. And even then, like, you're not clearing slime with Danmachi either. So
Well, and that's at 2, right? At 1, 7 is still relatively good. The biggest thing like you're going to run into, I think, is probably going to be Spy Family, which can usually set about 8/5 to 9 with before backup.
yeah, but even then, I think Spy Family's dropping off in popularity. I will say I made a mistake here. Um, I have another round of level 1 combo in my hand, and I'm honestly like, I don't need to play it because I got +1 on board. I should have, off of this +2 brainstorm that I just hit, gotten the Chiuri and crashed it because I am out of climaxes. I have 2 in hand right now. So I should have done that and milled out the rest of my deck. I'm at 1/6, so I would have gotten down to 1 card left in deck and hit my refresh point. So that's a mistake. And I knew it as soon as I did it, too, that I had prioritized trying to win board instead of deck compression, which was a huge mistake.
So I do the rearrange here to be able to cancel the damage more efficiently.
I also drew into yet another book, which is why I don't mind slamming the book here. Usually it would feel pretty bad, but I'm sitting on 2 Astolfos and another book in my hand, and I know that even if I did push Frieren into 2, which is unlikely, it still wouldn't have this massive board that I couldn't step over. Reverse denial isn't really a thing anymore, beyond just having big bodies on board.
With the one brainstorm and drawing into the other copy, I'm able to essentially recur combo once again. I don't have an event in hand to be able to play the stock charge here, but I do play the effectively Pants Assist Part 2. Between the front row and the back row, Frierens to be able to play into Pants. If I trigger Pants on this turn, I'll be able to effectively get some pretty powerful play going here, which immediately I do, right? So I grab the Pants, just kind of be able to do the whole effect here. I ditch the Pants to be able to top check, so I know what the card is on top of the deck. As long as it's clean, it's going to stay right there. And then I choose to salvage a character. And then you pay out the climax, blind stock, and then I can draw a ditch as well. And I draw into another copy of an event, which is just fantastic.
I love it when stuff works. Like, it just works. The way this was designed, everything just functions. And it's not broken, it's not over the top, but it's a very solid fixing engine. It's just a bunch of good cards. And that's, I think, the thing that's most attractive about playing Frieren is that it literally is just 50 good cards that play really nicely together. Nothing crazy. It doesn't even do anything super special. It's just a bunch of good cards. And in the hands of a good player, that can always take you somewhere. Obviously, it has like the spot removal that can target Overlord, right? Like, that's, I think, the thing that most people think of when they think of Frieren is that specific thing that it brings to the meta. But that is such a small part of the Frieren package. I really like a lot of the cards in this set. It gives you a lot of freedom, and there's a lot of skill expression. I know a lot of players have been complaining about a lack of skill expression in some of these newer sets. I don't disagree with that necessarily. I think Frieren has a lot of room for skill expression by comparison. Because you can make all these plays, you can move all these cards around. Like, you have the hand to stock, like you did on the very first turn of this game. You used your hand to stock to generate stock so that you could use your Ricky to go get something else that you needed. Like, those are plays that Frieren allows you to make. And those are plays that start in the deck building process. Like, you know what plays you are opening yourself up to, giving yourself the opportunity to make because of the decisions that you make in the deck building phase. I just think Frieren's a really good set. I'm really happy with this set. I think it's going to be competitively viable. I think it's fun to build. I think it's fun to play. It's fun to play against. Like, it feels like there's an actual, like, give and take in your matches with Frieren. Like, this is exactly what I want to see in a new set.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like being able to, like, I also came very much in that same kind of position, but I'm able to effectively mill through a good portion of my deck here, as I was last turn. Like, the fact that you can kind of just dig through your entire deck in a single turn if needed, I think is like pretty crazy in and of itself.
Yeah, but it rewards good play. It rewards preparing, and it does allow you to get out of bad situations if you prepare yourself well. On my end of the table, I got shot from 1/6 to 3/1 because I didn't mill out those clean cards with the Chiari like I should have. So I'm stuck at 3-1, but I'm able to combo again, so I've got cards in hand. My compression is okay. I feel like I'm going to live here, and I've got 2 combos in my hand. So 2 level 3 combos, so I feel like I'm going to at least have a chance.
So basically, this turn here, I'm able to effectively get all of the cards I want ready to go. Like I have 2 copies of combo plus climax in hand. I debate slamming climax here because like there's a good possibility I could actually just close out the game here. But I hold off on it because I think that I'm also far enough out of range that he's not gonna be able to close me out on this next turn, and that way I can do combo and just kind of guarantee it on the turn after.
That's a really good assessment of Apocrypha, not able to close you out.
No, it's also 2/4, right? So it's like,
Yeah. No, that's Apocrypha is not one for closing big gaps, that's for sure.
also realistically, I didn't quite have a way to like clock myself to 3 all the way with what I had in hand currently. So it was like that was kind of the stall anyway, which is why I slammed climax. And I debated that, and I said I wanted to keep climax for next turn. The combo itself can allow me to be able to draw into the climax, but if I was going to potentially cancel on this next turn, or this turn rather, to be able to potentially mill out of all of the climaxes of that specific CX, and then have to actually like go and dig and go further to get the climax again, I debated it and said no, it was better just to stay where I was at.
I also debated even bothering with the third combo lane if I wanted to maybe hold up stock instead, but I opted to push you into 3, mostly because I'm still 4 out of 8. I was 4 out of 16, and the top 8 were all clean, so I feel like my chances of survival here are actually decent. Because I also know that, Frieren just does 6 instances, right? Um, it's not doing anything that's too absurd. It's good, but it's not a Gura or a Chainsaw Man where it's like there are going to be multiple instances of one that can try to chew through a compressed deck state. And I know you also have stock swap, but I also only have 2 stocks, so I'm not that worried about it if you hit me with it.
Having the opportunity to be able to event swap into stock swap, I think, is crazy. That it can basically be on command.
Yes, event swap into a 1 stock swap. That's nuts, but it's great. And again, like Frieren has a bunch of cards that work, and it allows you to play the game at a high level because you have access to your cards. You can make decisions. I like it a lot. I just think it's brilliant.
And also, I've leveled down to be able to like stock charge as well. My level down card stock charges, so like I can like be really flexible with what like my resources here. In fact, effectively, I basically go through the entire deck here, just trying to see if I can get the third copy of combo. So it's like the fact I'm able to essentially mill through my entire deck to be able to get the cards I want is also just crazy because I'm basically guaranteed to get my stuff each game.
Yeah, I feel like Frieren strikes the balance of you can play the game and you have access to your stuff and you get to do the things you want to do while also not being so oppressive that if you get all of your stuff every game, it's going to be a big problem. And then this is where it feels bad. I just eat the 3. So now I'm 3 out of 4, but it doesn't matter because you have 4 instances of damage. So I'm going to die to refresh. Like, Frieren's ceiling, I think this is the biggest difference between Frieren and Danmachi, even though they're so mechanically similar. Frieren has a good top end, Danmachi does not. Like, the primary reason Danmachi was never a great deck and was only, second or third tier even when it was meta is because its top end is not good. And Frieren solves that problem. And it also has terrific pants support. It also has these other really good level 0 profiles that allow you to do so much. It's just good. It's a good set. But it's also fair. Like, I want to keep making that point. I feel like Frieren is a fair set that is rewarding to play and to play against. It's good. But that's it for that. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back on Tuesday. We will finally have an event to talk about. We'll talk about it on Tuesday on our next Clock Talk. Following Thursday will be 5 cards, 5 minutes. And then the following week, another deck with more gameplay. Until then, thank you so much for joining us. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And have a good one.
We'll see you then.